Hi everybody. In this video I'm going to show you the wall with the window in it, and I'll go through this a little bit faster than previous videos because this is getting a little repetitive now. So I'm going to start with a bottom plate and a top plate, and in a similar method to what I've done in the past. So we'll start with a rectangle. I'm going to move to a front view so that I can draw the bottom plate in there, like so. The size will be 90,45. Give our little rectangle there, and I'll close this off now. Okay, so I'm going to create a group, and then I'll edit the group and push that out for a distance of 5,000, like so. Alright, and then what I'd like to do, I might get rid of the guy out the way for the time being, is I want to create a second top plate 2.4 meters or 2400 millimeters above that one. So I'm going to use my tape measure, and I'll measure from the midpoint here, and I'll put a guideline in 2400 on the keyboard, and there it is up there. So that will be the height at which the top plate will go. Alright, so let's move that up into position. Since it's the top edge that I'm snapping, I'll make sure I've got a point on the top, like that. Press Control to get a copy, and then make sure we're going up and down on the blue axis, and then drop it into position there on the line. So that's the top and bottom plate. Next, I'll draw a stud, which is going to be at 90,35, 90 by 35. Okay, so let's make a group there. In fact, we make a component, we'll call it stud. Alright, and then we can edit the stud and pull it up to a height where it comes up to the top piece, the top plate, like so. Alright, now at this point I can make a copy of that right down to the other end. So remember, we're doing just the end at this point, so we don't need to worry about selecting the center. So there is the frame. Alright, so the next thing to do is to put the window in place. Now I kind of like in this one where the window is already, so rather than moving the window, I'm going to use the protractor and rotate the wall that I've just drawn. So I've already selected all four parts. I need to make sure I have a blue compass, select the corner, and then select the edge and swivel it around 90 degrees, like that. And now I've got the wall moved into position. Now I'm not quite happy that for some reason that's not on the origin, so I'm just going to move the wall onto the origin there, like that, which will work better because I know that the window was already placed onto that line. Now, we were told in our specification that the window needs to be mounted in the center of the wall. So let's get a guideline in place. Tape measure tool. Let's pick up the midpoint here on that edge, and half of the 5,000 meters is going to be 2500. That gives us a midpoint along the wall, and then we can move the window along. Now, this is actually pretty easy to do. We can use, when we move the window, we can find a midpoint along the edge. When we hover along here, it will snap and it will say midpoint. Okay, so I'm going to use that. I'll zoom out, make sure we stay on the red axis, because the red axis is the horizontal axis. Move it along until we snap onto our guideline, like that. And now I can see I've got the window centered on the wall there. The other thing I need to do, which was in the specification, is to make sure that the window is 840 millimeters off the floor up to the sill. So let's check that. Make sure you pick the bottom line, and then we're going to measure straight up on the blue axis until we get to the sill, which is the bottom line there. Alright, now I'm having trouble getting it to snap onto that line. And there it is there. Mine says 837. Alright, so I actually want it to be 840. So I'm going to type 840 in, and I've put a guideline in there now, which is really very, very small. But what I can do is I can now get the move tool, find that midpoint again there, and just move it up that little bit so that it's now on that line there intersecting. And we've got now 840 above. Okay, that looks pretty good. Alright, so to finish the rest of the wall off, you probably don't need to watch the rest of this, but here goes anyway. I'll pick the stud with the move tool. Make sure you get, this time, the center rather than a corner like that corner. Get the center. Press Control for copying, and it's 450 mils between centers. So 450 on the keyboard, press enter, and then don't click or do anything else like I've shown you before. What you do next is type in Shift 8 for the star, which is the multiply symbol, and let's do 10 copies. And there it is there. So we've now got 10 studs in place. We don't need the whole 10 of them. Okay, so but what we do need to do is this stud here needs to be moved just to the outside of the window so that it would be screwed or nailed into place using that stud. So I'm going to pick that point of intersection right here and then move it along to it gets to the corner there, like that. I'll do the same with this stud. That's how a builder would do it. Move that one along to that position there. Okay. Now these two studs, they can come out now, or you can redraw them. If you do modify these, because they're components, the other studs are going to move as well. I'll just show you very quickly. If you were to extrude that down, or let me try scaling, I think. So if I was to scale this stud, there we go. Alright, so I'd want that, not that one there, but the one in the middle, which it won't let me pick up at this point. No. Anyway, the point is, if you are to move one of these, let's just move this one down, what it's going to do is it's going to modify all of the other studs. So that's not really a good option. So let's undo that. What you can do though, rather than redrawing them, is you can click on this stud and then right click it and say make unique, like that. And we're going to do the same with this one. Right click it and make unique. And that way it's not actually part of that group or of that component anymore. So that when you do scale it or move it or whatever you're going to do, it won't affect the other ones. So let me show you with one, and then I'm going to leave you guys to complete the rest of the drawing. So I think because I can't get hold of that top there, I might just hide this one momentarily. Try that again. There we go. And now what I can do is I can edit that one and I can pull it down, that top surface. And you'll notice now that the other studs aren't changing, which is what I wanted. Alright, and then you would repeat the process on this one, double click it, push and pull, and bring it down to this edge here. Alright, now you can then copy those, one that way at 450 mils and this one across at 450, and then put a couple of short ones up the top here as well. The other thing that you'll need to do is to put a sill, and I'll need to shorten those a bit more, I've just recognised. Put a little sill underneath the window, start it on that intersection there, 90 by 35. Type that in, press enter, make a group out of that, and then edit that, and then I can pull that sill across to the other side now of the window, and the window would in fact sit on that like that. Alright, so stop there, and a copy of him can go up to the top here, like that. So you'll have a sill, and you'll have your studs, jack studs in here. Don't forget to reveal or to show, put that hidden geometry back in place. So earlier before I hid the top here, so I'm not sure why that's not showing up. Hidden geometry, or hidden objects, my apologies, there we go. Alright, so right click that and unhide it, and then everything should be, that didn't work, hidden objects, close that, and then we'll try that again, unhide, there we go. Alright, so everything's in place there now. Alright, so besides putting these couple short studs here and at the top, and putting your noggins in place, that would conclude the video. And I'll just go back to the original position, which is that one. And that would conclude our little short video on putting the window in place. Okay, don't forget you need to do a lining on the outside, same technique as what we did in the previous wall with the door. Okay, thanks. Pause, rewind, do what you need to do, watch the video at your own pace, and that will get you through this one. Don't forget to save your work so that you have in here, when we go to, for example, I should click save first. Alright, so that when we look at opening up our library, we have all of the drawings that we've been doing saved in place, and that way we'll be able to get our wall with the window in it, get our wall with the doors in it and plain walls, and we'll be able to put them together to build up a house or a structure later on. Okay, so do save your drawings and keep them in place. Alright, thank you everyone for watching.